Good evening.
First, I would like to thank you all so much for coming out to this town meeting tonight. This is not one of our typical town meetings, and I really appreciate you all taking your time to be here. We also owe a huge thank you to Holy Cross, Father Manning, and the amazing staff here who have made this meeting possible for us, opened their space, and been so hospitable. Thank you. At our previous town meetings over the winter and spring, we dealt with practical matters at hand, like cleaning up, FEMA, mold, BFE maps, grants, PTSD, and other issues that residents are facing. But tonight's town meeting is for Bright 2020. Bright 2020 is the name that we've given to our long-term community recovery planning effort. We think Bright 2020 is catchier than long-term community recovery planning effort, but also it has a better symbolism because we're talking about 2020 vision and also the year 2020. Some people ask, why are we talking about 2020? What about 2013? What about 2014? Those issues are happening right now. And I would like to invite all of you who are interested in participating in those discussions to join us. These issues, 2013, 2014, are discussed at open public meetings at least 3 times a month. On first and third Tuesdays, we have council meetings, and every second Thursday is a workshop meeting. But also, I just remind you that the elected members of council, and I are just a phone call and an email away, and we stand ready to help you with anything we can to help you get through what you need to get through to get home. But before we get to Bright 2020, I just wanted to take a couple of minutes to talk briefly about what got us to this point so far. Some of you may not remember what it was like here in the early days. In the immediate days after the storm, the borough worked to clear the paths, to get emergency crews through the sand and the debris. Utility crews came in to deal with snapped electric poles and to contain the leaking gas. Our sewer system had to be repaired. Our storm drains had to be cleaned. 35,000 cubic yards of debris were removed. Not sandy, had to be sifted and cleaned. We began working with our borough insurance company and FEMA on losses to the public facilities and our access ways. And I would like to say that dealing with FEMA for public assistance is way more challenging than dealing with individual assistance or individual household program, if you could believe that. We had to bring in temporary facilities for the beach, get the boardwalk rebuilt, and repair the public access ways. All of that has been done so far. There's just some slides of what we were dealing with back in November. There were countless volunteer hours to get us out of this, beginning with the council and the emergency responders who are all volunteers. Chris Wood and Bright Rising fed us, distributed supplies, and raised over $1 million for assistance to residents and businesses. They were always happy. And then came all the great volunteers who helped us clean and gut our homes, and they just kept coming. Thank God. So many more volunteers have helped us with the debris and also the sand. They've helped people maintain their properties, and that work continues up until this very day. We worked really hard to form partnerships not just with Seabright Rising, but with our neighbors across the river in Rumson for Seabright. The Friendship Train Foundation, which was instrumental in establishing the Seabright Resource Center. The Foundation to Save the Jersey Shore gave us a safe place for children to play. Counseling services through New Jersey Hope and Healing, through CPC, Behavioral Health, Habitat for Humanity, and Houses of Worship. The Sandy Ground Project, where angels play. We were the first of that playground build project, and that was a gift to our community from the Foundation to Save the Jersey Shore. But the generosity of these groups and our surrounding communities has been simply incredible. Like the Fairhaven Hurricane Relief Fund, Rumson for Seabright, and those 5 area garden clubs who took on cleaning up and working to replant and beautify our downtown. We've worked to form strategic partnerships with Rutgers, Harvard, NJIT, New Jersey Future, and the Office of Recovery and Rebuilding to help us deal with the myriad issues for recovery on this scale. The Borough Council acted quickly to update building codes by raising elevations and building heights. And it's been an overwhelming amount of work for a handful of staff who work in Borough Hall. Amidst all the chaos, our borough administrator and our clerk left, so we had to stabilize borough operations very quickly by bringing in a professional borough administrator and clerk. We were able to access national employment grants to hire additional employees to help us with the workload. We did this without impacting the borough budget, and we anticipate the arrival of a funded recovery manager position later this year. We've utilized available programs through the federal government to balance our budget. So, in spite of losing 20% of our property value and spending almost $2 million on debris removal, we still were able to deliver a budget that keeps tax increase on the small scale. So it will be less than a penny per $100. We made sure that Seabright had a seat at the table for larger discussions of flood control, knowing that we don't have the ability to fully fund the much-needed mitigation projects along our seawall and our river. We had a significant imprint on the White House Sandy Rebuilding Task Force strategy document, and we're hosting international innovators on flood control on September 10th. And yet, despite all the good stuff that's happening here, this is what my house looks like. And getting back there seems pretty near impossible sometimes. We had problems with insurance. We had problems with FEMA. My husband spent 2 hours at the Freehold office of New Jersey Stronger getting every piece of paper we have scanned. Today he went back to do it all over again. So believe me, I get it. I read the morning news and I see headlines like this one, $40 million steel seawall to protect sandy ravaged towns of Mantelope and Brick. And I found myself saying things like, are you freaking kidding me? They say they want us to build back better, stronger, and more resilient, but unless it's backed by some dollars, it's just words. Plus, we got this disaster cycle on our hands, the psychology of recovering from a natural disaster, mad, sad, incredible grief over what we've lost, sad, hopeless, even despair. So, what was once a proud statement of do 10 months ago kind of feels like a mocking right now. And so here you see a picture of a home that once said do on it, and now it has a black mark. I get it. But you know what? This is exactly the time we need to remember who we are and where we're from. We're Seabrighters, for goodness sake. Nobody out there has what we have. Want to talk about sunrise in the morning? Sunset in the evening? A place where you know your neighbors? Where each and every one of our characters is right at home? been trying. People all the way to Washington, D.C. pointed at Seabright as an example of a community that pulled together in the aftermath of Sandy. The Plywood Army, the Seabrighters Embracing Action, the letter writing campaign, the Elevation Open House, the Save Our Seabright fundraiser, Sand Days, the Knitting Club, the generosity of people like John Sands, who gave us workspace for our gym, or Mark Pappas, whose company is right now developing a brand new website to replace our weak, old rural website. We live in an amazing place populated by incredible people. And the generous neighbors keep coming back to help. They're still coming. Now, more than ever, we need to stick together. 6 months ago, I stood up at a town meeting and I affirmed my commitment that any future plans from Seabright would come from its people, that big decisions would be made by collective deliberation and not made by a handful of individuals. So we're here tonight to begin that work together. The governing body worked to bring federal resources through FEMA Community Recovery to support this effort. And there's a team here led by T.W. Theodore and Hillary Conneray. They are experienced working with disaster-affected communities, and they're giving us people and resources to guide us through this long-term planning process. But it's our process, and it's going to be led by the people who live here and the people who are going to rebuild here. You all are here tonight because, like us, you love Seabright. You care about its future. So I urge you to stick with it. Participate on these committees that are going to work with the ideas that you all are sticking on the boards here. Come back here on October 3rd, review the committee work, and give us your thoughts. There's this Japanese proverb that I always come back to. And it goes something like, none of us is as smart as all of us together. I trust that, and I trust you, my neighbors. The past 10 months have proved that when we band together for a common purpose, we succeed. So I invite every single one of you here to be a part of it.